Alright guys, I've had my little hiatus and now it's time to get back into the interior. Alright, this is what it looks like when I forget to turn on the microphone. And anyway, what I was going to tell you is that when I was putting the headlining in, I forgot to put in the interior lights, and that is what I'm going to do now, and go back and clean them up and install them before I go any further. One down, one to go. Alright, so right here is a spot where I should have actually put these lights in. Behind them, there's actually this piece of foam that's actually supposed to go in there as well. I'm going to try and cut the hole and see if I can sort of wedge this in and fit it in behind the hole. Let's see how it goes. Alright, now both interior lights are in and set up. So the next part is to start working my way down, trimming the car, and that means working on all these pillars. Now these pillars, I've gone and got myself some black vinyl to go down, and so now I need to go along and make some nice pieces to cover these pillars. Alright, I've cut out my piece of vinyl, and I'm just going to do one to start with just to make sure it all works properly, but I've roughly measured over the size I need. So now I'm going to spray it with spray adhesive and fold one end down so I get a nice seam on the top, because that will be exposed. I'll just fold it in about 1 centimetre and then clamp it all down, and then we'll stick it on and see how it goes. That worked really nicely, except for the fact, and it was all quite neat and tidy, it all stuck on beautifully, but on this corner right here, I trimmed it a bit too high, and put this trim panel, sat this trim panel back in place, and you're going to see this little notch I cut out. There's another trim piece that goes over here, but for the sake of a couple more minutes and a little bit more vinyl, which I've got heaps of, I'm going to do it again, and this time I'm not going to cut it so aggressively. Alright, so I'm going to go through now and trim off this excess roof lining that I just left here and left the clips on, take the clips off and go through and put on the rubber trim piece again, like I've put the trim piece on this side here. And also this external trim piece that goes along here, I've actually, I did notice it when I pulled it off, that it looks like it's all black, but I think one of the previous owners has just stuck some black tape over the top of it, but it looks like it's nice and shiny chrome underneath, so that'll be coming off, and hopefully I've got some nice clean shiny chrome pieces underneath. Alright, those pillars look good, so now it's time to do the same again on the front pillars. I'm sweating like a pig. It's not even that hot today. It's only sort of 30 degrees. And tomorrow's going to be even hotter, so I'm really sweating it out. Now I've got the front A-pillars trimmed. During the stripping of the car, I had to remove the VIN tag, which you can see through the windscreen, and it's actually attached to the pillar itself. And it's a little bit scratched up and doesn't look that great, so I'm going to just hit it with an airbrush with some black on it so you can still read the numbers, and just make it a bit neater, and then we'll rivet it back on the car. Alright, I've torn the garage apart and I've managed to find a couple of pop rivets that are just the right size for what I need. So now I just have to make sure these holes will take them, and rivet this plate back on. I thought now was as good a time as any to go through my plans for my interior. As you can probably see here, I have bought a hide of leather. It's got this beautiful natural type finish on it. It's quite sort of worn old style leather, which I really love. My plans is basically, so the seats will be in this leather, and then the center of the seats is going to have this purple tartan. It'll match in with the purple roll cage. Definitely not going to be an interior that fades into the background. It's going to be quite bright with this, but I'm going to use this sparingly, not everywhere. My basic plans throughout the interior is to keep it cohesive and all to work. So what I've come up with is I've been looking at the design of the interior as it stands, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the top of the door trims here. They'll stay black, and then there's going to be a strip of the purple tartan, and the bottom of the door trims will be in this brown leather. So going around, the dash pad will stay black because my dash pad is in great condition, so I don't have to touch it. That will stay black with a strip of purple in the middle of the dash. This top edge will line up with the top of the door trims, and that will stay black. And this top section in the rear here, this will stay black. And this panel will have the purple tartan in it, and this will be the leather. And then along here I'll do a line, leather, purple tartan, black. So it will be cohesive throughout the car. Yeah, that's my plan for the interior. So the next step is I've got to make some custom door trims. Alright, so these are my old door trims sitting right here, and here is some 3mm MDF that I've got that I'm going to use these as a pattern, copy them onto here and trim them out. Alright, so now I've got my patterns laid out on my 3mm MDF, and now I just need to go around with a jigsaw and cut them all out. Okay, now I'm looking at these door trims and I'm going with a slightly different design to what was on there previously. I'm getting rid of the factory armrest, etc. And that means that they attach slightly differently to the way they used to. And I mean, some of the holes that were cut into the boards I marked out, these are for power windows. That is an option obviously on other models and things like that. So they're not being used on mine. I'm keeping the hand crank window winders. So what I need to do now is make sure that all these holes still line up where I want them to, and on this card I want to transfer this clip hole here, which wasn't previously used because of the armrest, into my card. So the method I've come up to work that out is I'm going to use my square on the edge of the door and mark it with a piece of tape, and then I'm going to mount up my door card. Now I put my square back up again, line it up again where it was, and mark my distance. I know the hole's on that line, and I know it's a certain distance from that line there, so then I'll measure my distance, and there's the centre of my hole. So the next stage is to continue with the sound deadening theme throughout the rest of the car and get some mass-loaded vinyl onto these door trims. So my plan is to actually take the foam backing off of this, because it's just going to be too thick, the door trim's going to be too big, but I'll strip the foam backing off of this mass-loaded vinyl, and on the door trim, this goes to the door, then I'm going to stick the mass-loaded vinyl on, then a layer of foam, and then my leather and tartan over the top. It'll make the door trim quite heavy, so I may need to screw it on at the top somewhere to just take the weight, but it hides the vinyl inside the door. It's not separated by the foam, so it's not going to be as effective, but it'll still be the best option available. It's not perfect, but it will still make it, I think, a lot quieter than if I didn't put it there. not sure how this is usually done, but the previous installer cut some notches out of the clips. I don't know if you can see that there. Can you see that notch? And that notch makes it much easier to actually get in and get one end in and twist it into the hole, because otherwise I don't know how you're supposed to get these clips to clip into the door trim. Okay, so far so good with these. The mass-loaded vinyl is stuck on really well. I'm just going to go through now with the staple gun and just staple it around the edges. Alright, door trims are looking good. Now I've got it just sitting here, just loosely fitted on, and I want to mark where I'm going to start the trimming. And basically I want to keep this line level with this rear panel right here. So I'm going to just mark the door trim at the same height there, and then just run a straight line across, and that will be my tartan line on the door trim. Just spent the last couple of hours trying to set up the sewing machine again. I've got this nice thick purple thread, which will sort of match in nicely with my purple tartan, and I've just been doing some practicing here with some old vinyl and some old sheets that are lying around, sort of similar sort of fabrics to what I'm going to be using. I thought practice on this before I start wrecking leather and tartan, which I have a limited amount of. Alrighty, so as you can see here, I've got the hide out, and it's all laid out on my lounge room floor, and now I'm going to go through and start marking out the bits I need for the door trims and cutting out a piece at a time. Everything's cut out, everything's ready to go. I've practiced. All there is left to do is to get into it. I'm more nervous about this than I was cutting into the car. That sucks. The super sensitive throttle got away from me, and it's only a few millimeters out, but I'm not happy with that, so unpick those. Well, after a lot of sweating and just hearing on the radio, it hit 44.5 today in Sydney, so it's about 40 here today. So I'm sweating because of that, but also because I wanted to get this right, and I am really stoked. It's come up great. It's probably hard to see it in detail there, but I'll put it on the door trim and you have a look. That's a nice looking door trim. I am stoked. I was stressing hard about getting this right, and I'm also running out of time today because I've got to edit this and get this up tonight. Oh, good stuff. One down, almost. Now I've got to glue it on, but that's the easy bit. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. It's definitely not perfect, but for my very first attempt at trimming, I'm stoked. I'm going to retrim this in black vinyl again. It actually worked. I could actually build my own door trim and actually trim it and it not be too shabby. I definitely could have chosen something a bit easier for my very first trimming project, but that's not how I roll. So. All right. Now I suppose I've got to get the other door trim done. And there's the driver's door trim done. I am stoked. Again, not perfect, but I think it's really, really coming together. So I think that must be time for Fun Facts with Mrs. Jeff.
Hi guys, did you know that the names for both the Porsche 911 Carrera and the Panamera Gran Turismo both came from Mexico's historic race, the Carrera Panamericana, where Porsche scored many victories.
All right, guys, that's it again for another week. Just run out of time and I am dripping with sweat. So door trims are looking great and I am really happy with how they've come out. I think I probably haven't ordered enough fabric, so I've just got online and ordered some more of the tartan and hopefully I can get some more of that and the leather. I think I just underestimate these things. All right, next week, continuing on with the trimming. So as always, if you enjoyed the videos, please like and subscribe to my channel, Home Built by Jeff, and you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at the same place. All right, see you guys.
Okay.